Hello, everybody. Kevin here, and I wanted to do a little video to kind of discuss uh, direct radio voice uh, method and why. Why direct radio voice instead of other methods, uh, preferably. Now we have there's a lot of different ways, a lot of different techniques and methods to contact spirit side. And when we think about it, of course, there's electronic voice phenomenon, which is spirit voices, or what we believe to be spirit voices, being recorded onto recording devices such as a digital recorder, tape recorders, reel-to-reels, video cameras. That would be electronic voice phenomenon. Spirit boxes and things like that are not electronic voice phenomenon. Even though there are voices that come on electronic devices, it's different. There's opportunistic, and there's transpose, because they call them like opportunistic EVP, transpose EVPs. Those are the ones that we would get from apps, scanning radios, spirit boxes, that sort of thing. Or using noise, like phonemes with phonemes in them, that sort of thing. But we can also say that with the spirit boxes, for example, which began with the Frank's box, we can say with spirit boxes, we can say with apps, some apps, we could say with using human speech, reversing it, running it through EVP Maker, things like that. Even through our televisions, for example, we've been known to get what sounds like communication not coming from the TV, like not because of the TV program, but spirit somehow manipulating the frequencies within the audio on the TV itself and communicating with us or sending us messages. These ways work, these methods work, but I think we've gotten lazy within the ITC field when it comes to spirit communication. And sadly, far too many, dare I say most, people, when it comes to spirit communication, have gotten lazy and just have no patience. And I am not one for patience. I don't have patience. I'm just as guilty as anybody else when it comes to that. I always enjoy the communication I receive through spirit boxes, which is probably my favorite, and other means as well. But it takes patience when it comes to EVP, and that's probably why a lot of people don't rely on the old school ways anymore with EVPs. And that falls into the category of direct radio voice as well. It takes a lot of patience. Now, you may get communication consistently, daily, but it takes patience because you may not at all. They speak to us when they want to speak to us. They may have messages one day and they may not have messages for another month. Who knows? A lot of times when I do sessions, and probably many others, I get absolutely nothing that really makes sense. Nothing that comes through that's really worth posting and sharing with anybody else. And there's those also that maybe I'm getting messages that are very personal that may never get shared as well. But I'd like to see that more people, more ITC researchers, practitioners, get out of their laziness. And that includes me. And that's what I'm trying to do. The problem with using devices such as spirit boxes, EVP Maker with human speech that's being chopped up, reversed if you want to reverse it, and then chop it up, and you'll get communication. Sure, you can get communication. But the problem you're dealing with there is perhaps high potential of pareidolia. And we don't want to do that. False positives. There's always that chance. Where with EVPs, not so much. Because if you're in a room by yourself, there's nobody else around. There's nobody outside. If you're near somewhere where there could be potential noise, you can distinguish if you're getting a voice on your device and you know it's not yours or anybody else's. You can pretty much determine that would be spirit or other speaking. So you can rule that out, the false positives. For me, direct radio voice goes back so long ago, as far as, when you're talking about Frederick Jurgensen, Constantine Radove, Marcello Bacci, huge inspiration, Marcello Bacci. Sadly, he passed a few years ago, I think. He was one of the great ones. But now we have Annabella Cardoso, who continues with her research with direct radio voice. And direct radio voice, if you're not aware, is basically taking your radio, and you don't have to use shortwave. I think she prefers shortwave, but she doesn't always use shortwave. And there are certain radio stations, frequency bands that she uses, that she has shared on her YouTube channel. I recommend you go check it out. If you're interested in direct radio voice, then go check her out. Annabella, 1 N, 1 L, Cardoso. And that's her name of her YouTube channel. Check her out and you can learn more about direct radio voice contact. And with direct radio voice, basically you're taking a radio and you're tuning into a station where you know that there's no broadcasts being made from a radio station. And spirit has a way of coming through those frequencies, that white noise, pink noise that comes through the radio stations. It's those frequencies that they have the ability to use. So it takes patience, because sometimes you may not tap into the correct frequencies. What I found also is if you take a radio and you tune in the dial manually, tune it in between stations, spirit can, and that's different than scanning it. Don't scan it across the stations, but slowly go from your station and in between stations. And I noticed that spirit can use that to communicate with me as well, which is what I've been kind of working on lately. There are other means. I mean, people like to experiment. I love to experiment with different types of audio and that sort of thing. But I found that using the technique of direct radio voice communication is solid, and without pareidolia or false positives. Now, the downfall when it comes to direct radio voices, much like EVPs, a lot of them that come through are not loud. They're not real clear. So you really have to listen closely. Some are clearer than others. But it takes work. And it's very hard, I think, at times. It can be difficult for the communicators on the other side to come through and be able to be real clear and bold with the volume for us. So that's where you have your audio analyzing software. I use WavePad. I've been using it for 8 years, and it's always served the purpose. But that's where you record your sessions. You put it in that audio software. That way you can enhance the volume, perhaps uh, take a little bit of the noise out of it, the background noise, so you can hear them, and even slow them down if you need to. Many will come through quickly, and slow them down a little bit so you can understand it easier. So that is why lately I've been more in tune with direct radio voice methods and trying to work with that more than anything else. It's very intriguing to me, but I can be assured that the communication I'm receiving, I can be assured that it's going to be spirit side that's communicating. Now, some of these communicators we don't want communicating with us. Sometimes they'll come through. I don't. I rarely have that happen where I have negative things coming through because I work on trying to be as positive as possible, loving and respectful, and I try to communicate with specific spirit communicators such as the spirit team, the Circle, Ellis, and then there's Bridget, Rachel, who are my guides, I believe, some sort of spirit guides. And Nathan has come through often, not so often as many times lately, but they told me he's an angel. Whether he is or not, I can't say. But those are the only ones I really focus on, and with my mom as well, or my family. My mom comes through a lot. I believe she somehow works with Bridget, who has been with me from the beginning. I would imagine she's been with me my whole life, Bridget. And so I think her and mom are close when it comes to assisting me, communicating with me, that sort of thing. But direct radio voice, if you're interested in doing old school, I recommend direct radio voice or EVP. Get you a tape recorder, get you a digital recorder, and work with those for EVP, or tune your radio into a station where there's no radio broadcast going on, or move around to areas where there's no radio broadcast, and be patient, and you'll get communication with the right positive intentions. Not to have spirit do little dog and pony tricks for you. Sadly, when it comes to YouTube, there's really no channels. Very few channels am I interested in watching because it seems a lot of channels are lazy. A lot of channels are about entertainment. There are many channels out there now getting to the point where they like using these little speakers with the jewels and the crystals and the lights and the reverb cranked up and to where you can't even understand what's being said. And those channels that fake stuff as well. I can't get into all that. I'm not interested in it. I'm interested in real research and communication that may provide a positive support from spirit side and answers questions that are important. And I mean that are important questions, about our personal growth with spirit, the expectations that spirit may have with us. They want to help us, but too many people aren't concerned about that. They're more concerned about getting them to do tricks and trigger objects and move this and, I'm sorry. That's just not my thing. I think it's distasteful. But, so that's why I continue to do my thing. And that's why I decided to disable my comments on my videos as well. Because I don't want to get into conversations about things like that. I don't want to have people coming in and suggesting or recommending that I do things of that nature that I'm not interested in. And I'm certainly not interested in trolls coming along and trying to say it's bull crap, it's evil, or it's fake. Um, I don't fake anything. There would be really no point. There's nothing to gain by faking it. I mean, Steve Huff and those type of people, they get money, but what's money going to do you when you go around and you're lying, deceiving people, and you're exploiting spirit side, you're exploiting TV personalities who have passed and that sort of thing, and their families' grief, and you make that money. What good does it do you? Because when you leave your physical body, then you become spirit, and you're going to have to deal with that. And I'd rather not be faced with that kind of a concern. I just want to be a sincere researcher and practitioner, and communicate with my friends on the other side and try to gain valuable information, support, and love. And that's why I give them the same. So, anyway, direct radio voice, that's why I'm choosing it. That's really where I want to focus on as far as the audible communication. So, I'll go ahead and shut this off for now. It's been long enough, and I just wanted to have a little talk. It's been a while since I've had my face on camera and talked to you guys face to face, so to speak. Hope you guys have a blessed day, a wonderful weekend. Please take care and just consider that. Sit back. I recommend everybody just sit back and reevaluate where you're at and what are your intentions in doing what you're doing. Only you can answer that. And only you can provide the proper answer for yourself. Pray about it. Just kind of meditate on it and see where you would like to be. What is your goal when it comes to communicating with spirit side? Really, what is your goal? Is your goal one that's going to give you purpose for your future in spirit? Are you seeking answers from spirit that are practical, that are helpful, or are you just seeking to have them do backflips for you because it's cool? But there again, that's something only you can figure out. And I just wish that God blesses each and every one of you. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.